Buttigieg does a great job of going on these right-wing shows like Fox News and just quickly and brutally dismantling their talking points with the facts of the matter, maybe only outdone in this regard by Gavin Newsom. I mean, rhetorically, he really does great in terms of getting through everything, all of his points quickly so he's not cut off, and laying it out clear and in an easy-to-stomach manner. And this weekend, when he found himself on Fox News, it was no different. Watch this just amazing defense of the Biden-Harris economic record as he flawlessly weaves through all the talking points.
Unemployment is lower than it was even before COVID. Stock market is higher than it was even before COVID. And job creation is faster than it was even before COVID. So no matter what rebound effects you're talking about, these are economic results that have not happened since before I was born. Now, in terms of cost, that's been a major issue. And by the way, that's been a major issue in every wealthy country. This is an example of something that was largely affected by COVID. But I think there's a reason why inflation in the U.S. is lower than it is in any of the other G7 countries.
It's actually not true.
Yes,
At least, well, not according to the Washington Post. They say Japan, Italy, and Germany all had lower inflation rates than we do, and Italy's is less than 1%.
They may have been looking at a different time period, but I'm telling you, if you look at the overall time period when it was toughest, our inflation rate was better.
This is just beautifully laid out, and again, all true. You talk about the jobs, the GDP, the unemployment, and right-wingers instantly just go, well, it's all just rebounded from COVID. First thing you have to ask to shut them down completely, if Biden never brought the jobs back, never rebounded the economy, would you blame him or would you blame COVID? Because of course they would blame him. So of course he deserves credit. Because one, his vaccine rollouts and initiatives on day one is what allowed the economy to open back up and bring those jobs back to return. But also unemployment is lower than pre-COVID levels. We recouped the jobs that we had lost from COVID in 2023. And if you look at monthly job creation since, we're still higher than Trump was pre-COVID. So our economy is performing stronger than Trump's was, even after rebounding from an absolute mess.
Right now, especially for families that are pressed on costs, we could have insulin capped at $35 a month for everybody, not just for seniors. All it would take is for a few congressional Republicans to walk away from agreeing with Big Pharma and start agreeing with President Biden. That's not the only cost he's out to cut. He was in the House in that State of the Union speech calling for an across-the-board $2,000 out-of-pocket cap, something else that would help in a country where people are feeling the pinch of those prices that went up with post-COVID inflation. Congressional Republicans are standing in the way of it, but he's going to keep pushing. He's trying to get rid of junk fees, taking on credit card companies, because we know that those are something that affects the cost of living. And look, something else that comes into play alongside the cost of housing is the cost of transportation, which is why, after years and years of talk and years of failure, President Biden successfully began to implement the infrastructure bill that is now creating jobs, boosting income, and lowering the cost of our supply chains.
It's also important to remember that lowering insulin costs to $35 was a huge Trump promise that he failed. Investing in infrastructure was a huge Trump promise that he failed on, both of which Biden was able to deliver. And he did the infrastructure with huge bipartisan support, so clearly it was something Trump had the power to do as well and just didn't. I love the smug looks from the reporter, however, the host, where she's like, oh man, I really know that Pete's giving it to me, but I didn't want him to be. But these are the kind of points that need to be made directly to these kinds of people's faces. Biden not only has a plethora of success that he can stand on, he succeeded in multiple places where Donald Trump failed, and that is especially notable. Here is Pete being asked the "Are we better off now than we were 4 years ago?" question and just knocking it out of the park.
3 or 4 years ago, you couldn't get toilet paper. 3 or 4 years ago, we were in the middle of a pandemic that killed about 1 million people. When we took office, just to take a couple examples from the transportation sector, there had been 4 straight years of promises about an infrastructure bill that never came. Of course, President Biden delivered that in his first year, and it's contributing to manufacturing jobs and construction jobs around the country. Aviation, right now, one of our biggest challenges is making sure airlines can keep up with the demand. 3 years ago, the big question was whether America's airlines were going to go out of business because of the condition that the economy was in when President Biden inherited it. Now, I know those response addresses have to be written before the State of the Union is actually delivered, and I don't think they usually change them based on what actually happens during the address, but anybody who watched that address saw, not just in the substance, but in the delivery of President Biden's remarks, a leader who is in command.
Exactly. 4 years ago, we were in turmoil and on the brink of collapse, and it was all because of the choices and decisions that Trump had made. And Biden inherited this and still turned it around to now where, yes, we are better off. Wages are finally outpacing inflation. We have some of the lowest rates of inflation in the world, massive job gains, infrastructure investments. These are spoils that we never would have gotten under Trump. He would have focused on building another 50 miles of his wall and demonizing immigrants. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a comment, or even liking this video. We even have memberships available for as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.